Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. Today I'm going to be doing another book review for you for Goosebumps. This is Give Yourself Goosebumps, number 33. It came from the internet. And this is a cool cover. You actually have a couple of Goosebumps books back here. Yeah, I'll show you a little bit close up of that. Goosebumps books, and then there's a poster right here for a book that I recently read. Of course, you can see the GOO for Goosebumps. That was a Give Yourself Goosebumps book as well that I read a while back. I have the review here on my channel somewhere. This blue squid thing, blue spider squid thing, it's okay. This book, the monster's not that great. Kind of fun, I guess. I would say the book itself is actually fun. The monster itself, it's alright. This was fun. It was fun, but I didn't love it. You know, I recently did a review for another Give Yourself Goosebumps book. It's one of the first books I reviewed when I came back to doing YouTube after this whole COPPA crisis, or COPA crisis. And it was called Check Out Time at the Dead End Hotel. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I gave it like a really high 4 out of 5. This book is underneath that for me, but I also enjoyed it a lot. For anybody who hasn't read this before, it is kind of fun. It takes place in that era of time in the 90s or early 2000s, late 90s, whatever. Kind of before Y2K. I would assume it's 1999 when this got released, somewhere at that point. This book is that exact feeling younger people like myself. I'm 25 right now. I'm turning 26 at the end of the year. I was born in 94. When I was a kid, the internet was an existent thing that everybody used, but no one really had it in their house that often, or that commonly, like we do now. Cell phones weren't that advanced at the time. So it's kind of in that area where people are still kind of getting used to what the internet is, how we could use it a certain way. And again, it's uncommon for most people to have one in their house at that time. So it's got that feel of that, about a kid who has a computer at his house, his friends have computers at their houses. It's kind of right at that breaking point where everybody started having computers all the time. And you have like little rules that you were told when you were a kid, like not to get in a van with candy that a stranger tells you to get in. You have things like that are present here. You have things like spyware and malware downloading in this that are talked about. Like, it's just real weird. There's at one point the book actually stops to tell you about how anybody that tries to give you anything free over the internet is not really giving you anything good. It's usually a virus. And that's what this little creature thing is. Basically, your main character, since the book is written in first person, you're the main character. You had a friend over to try to help you out because you have this new computer program, and you pretty much use your computer to play video games and stuff. Your computer program you were recently given free by someone is called Spider. And you happen to notice that on your screen there's a bump sticking out of the screen, just a regular sized bump. And when you poke it or touch it or look at it, it just starts to move a little bit. The screen itself has that bump kind of gliding across it. And your friend gets involved, your best friend Mark, and it slowly becomes a worse and worse scenario. Apparently your computer has a computer virus, right? And it turns out that this virus is really this thing called a web crawler, which I don't know if that was a terminology used back in the 90s that I don't remember or don't know about. I don't know. We didn't have a computer in my house until about 2002 or 3, somewhere in there. I actually remember the day my parents told me we were going to get one of those. So it's weird with certain things that are thrown in here, terminology that I'm not sure if it's real or if it's Goosebumps developed. I don't know. It's weird. But you can totally tell throughout this book all the stuff that's thrown out to try to tell the kid that's reading this book, you know, if you're the kid that's reading the book, about how, hey, watch out for strangers on the internet, you know, that kind of thing. There's a lot of that here. But the book is still fun. It was fun and it was interesting as a weird nostalgia childhood thing to look at, and to see the kind of warning signs we had back in those days that were talked about a lot more prevalent at the time. Not so much now. Kids are extremely scarily intelligent and can use phones and stuff when they're like 4 now. It ain't natural, bruh. Anyway, this virus, this blue creature from the cover of the book that I just showed you, crawls out of your computer screen just like the cover here. It came from the internet, and it basically has fangs, and it tries to bite you in the neck. And when it does bite you in particular, the main character, you start losing your memory. And the more you're around this thing, the more you start losing your memory. And this thing wants to just go around and feast, basically, and try to bite everybody on the neck. And that's really the focus of the story here. It's not one of the more of the usual kind of Goosebumps books where you have, at the very beginning of the book, a split in the road where you can go one way and get a completely different story from the other way that you could have went. It's not like that. Of course, these Give Yourself Goosebumps books are choose-your-own-adventure books. That's what I meant by that, about the whole choice thing. You'll get to the bottom of a page, you'll have a choice to go to page 5 to continue the story, or you can go to page 30 or 35 to continue the story on from there, and it'll keep guiding you through that. There's like 20 different endings, and it's fun. Again, I like this book a lot. I thought it was very enjoyable. I thought it was better than the previous Give Yourself Goosebumps book I read. Not Checkout Time at Dead End Hotel, but the one before, or the one after that, The Beastly Babysitter. What was the whole title of that? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, the Beastly Babysitter one. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay and decent. I like this more than that. This book ain't perfect. I don't really have much to say about it. The whole story is kind of focused around this whole thing about the blue squid monster web crawler virus thing. And it's fine. You know, there's some really cool scenes in here that I really enjoyed a lot. A lot of really cool references to things. At that time, there's even a reference to Goosebumps as a series that you can check that out. All the weird ways of discovering virtual reality, which wasn't really a thing at that time, aside from some films like Tron, kind of throwing that out into the wind, but that kind of stuff was fun. I liked it. I thought it was okay. From a title called It Came From the Internet, everything you could possibly guess that could possibly happen in this book pretty much happens in the book. There's not really a lot of surprises, but when there are, they're okay. They're pretty nice. I think I'm kind of underselling them a little bit. But for the most part, I really liked It Came From the Internet. It was a good book, it was fine, it was very short and sweet, and it flew by. It flew by faster than most Give Yourself Goosebumps books, which I don't even entirely understand that. But I like the story here. I had a good time watching it, or reading it, whatever you want to call this. It's a game book, so I guess you could call it playthrough, playing it, I don't know. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Give Yourself Goosebumps number 33, It Came From the Internet? Did you love this one? Did you hate this one? Is it one of your favorites? Is it in your top 10? What would you let me know about all of that? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Again, it's not the best. Definitely not even close to being like in my top 10 Give Yourself Goosebumps books or anything. But it was good. I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun, and that's really all that matters to me when it comes to Goosebumps. As long as it's scary or fun, that's really what matters for me. Anyway, what are your thoughts on It Came From the Internet? Put your thoughts in comments down below. If I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I would give this like a high 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it a lot. I would almost close to say loved it, but it doesn't justify it having a higher rating, in my opinion. There wasn't a whole lot here, a whole lot of surprises. Everything was kind of predictable for what you think the story could have. And that's fine. It was still cool. It was still fun. A kid is not going to be able to predict this stuff as well, so I try to keep that in mind a little bit too. But I had a great time reading it. That's all that really mattered to me. I love these Give Yourself Goosebumps books. Even if they're kind of something that doesn't sound that great of a book, it usually ends up being really fun. And that's, again, the thing I count on most. What are your thoughts, guys? Put them down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.